Can y'all believe I still have tomatoes from my 2024 garden? I'm not joking. This is not an optical illusion or a trick. These tomatoes I picked probably the end of October 2024. They were green when I picked them. Isn't that amazing? This is Artisan Blush. February 10th, 2026. Heather here. I wanted to include this clip because one, I never got around to making this video, but it was significant enough to keep the clip because of those tomatoes right there that hang on. Well, they hung on for so long. I was really impressed with that feature. And this video is going to be all about cherry tomatoes. We got another snowstorm, if you can believe it or not. We did. And so I'm starting with cherry tomatoes. I'm going to quickly go through. We want just 3 varieties for this summer. So I divided the table into those I have grown versus those I have not. And I think I'm leaning heavily towards growing 3 from this side because, yeah, I kind of burned myself out last summer on the golden cherry tomatoes because I ate a lot. I grew 3 different varieties. We'll talk about that in a second, but I'm kind of burned out on those. So let's start over here. I'm going to be purging as well because I need to kind of hone in my seed collection. And that way, come next winter, if I want to browse a few seed catalogs, I don't feel so guilty to order, a few new tomato seeds or so, peppers, whatever, to try. Flowers. I have so many flower seeds though. So I've been doing a little research. We'll start here with this guy. This is the Gob Stopper tomato. And this image doesn't really do it justice here on the seed pack because it does look more of a yellow type fruit when you go to a couple different websites. It's dehybridized from Ireland, supposedly from Sungold. And I don't know, the picture, this is the reason I've never grown it. I've had this seed packet for a very long time. But when I look at this, it's more appetizing. But it is a yellow, ultimately, kind of with a green tinge cherry tomato. So I'm going to hold off, but we will try it in the future. That's a future try. I've been holding on to this pack as well for a long time, 2021, because I just have a feeling if I grow the pear cherry tomatoes, they're going to crack. And this image has never really been very appealing to me either. But, according to some online reviews, people have good luck with the yellow or the red pear cherry tomatoes. I do have an issue with cracking here because of our humid, hot springs and summer. And I really do wonder if this variety cracks. So if you could let me know, that would be wonderful. I also have this multi-pack that I've been holding on to. Well, this is 2023. There's some in here that I've never grown. It's 4 different cherry tomatoes in this pack. I have grown chocolate cherry. I used to love chocolate cherry. I grew it several years. And then I tried cherry something. What was it? It's over here. Black cherry. And then I tried black cherry. And I've grown that several years. And now that's my favorite over chocolate cherry because chocolate cherry did not have the production that black cherry has. And this has a little bit more of a punch of a flavor. Chocolate cherry is still a beautiful, beautiful tomato. And I will grow this pack at some point because I do want to try. There's green grape, there's bicolor cherry, and what is the other one? Super Snow White. Yeah, I'll try it here in the next few years. But for now, we're going to streamline things this year. That's why I'm only growing 3 cherry tomatoes. So these I saved in 2021 from an heirloom pack of tomatoes from Costco. And some of them tasted so good. I was like, I really want to grow these. I have not. This will be a fun experiment. I don't want to do it this summer though. So I'm going to put those off as well. And then I know straight away that I'm going to go ahead and donate this seed pack. Someone had donated those to me. This came in my green stock order once. And because it's just a generic red cherry tomato, I don't know more about it. I'm just going to donate them. And then I got both of these seed packs for free. And I do not want to fool with this size tomato. That's awful tiny. And I've grown one other smaller red cherry tomato before, and it is the Matt's Wild. That's about as small as I want to go. This is still kind of on the small side. I may give these one more shot. We'll talk about him in a minute, but let's go back over to the ones I've yet to grow. And there's 3 here that I ordered from Park Seed, and they are all hybrids. And they were all interesting, and I wanted to try them. Specifically, I wanted to try Firefly and Ladybug together and go with like an insect theme one year for cherry tomatoes. Yeah, this one is another yellow though, and it has a really long maturity date, 80 to 100 days. So I'm gonna wait on that. So that means I'm gonna wait on the Ladybug, which is a red, crack resistant, 65-day cherry tomato. But I may consider the Nectar. Supposedly it has excellent disease resistant, 65 days, lots of positive reviews, a beautiful red cherry tomato. So that leaves us with these 4 that I have yet to grow. I could just pick 3 of these and be done. Now the Midnight Snack I ordered last year. I thought it sounded really cool, but reading about it this morning, it is an AAS winner, which is awesome. I like to try those varieties. It sounds an awful lot like Indigo Rose, and I grew that 2 summers ago, and I don't remember any major problems with it. It actually did quite well. So I don't need to grow the Midnight Snack, because I feel like I've already tried something similar, and we'll save these. We'll just hold off and save those for another day. It is a hybrid as well. And I am going heavy on the hybrids this year for disease resistance. So that leaves us to these 3. And I definitely know straight away that because so many of you guys have recommended Rosella, I'm growing it this summer. I'm not sure how many seeds are in this pack, but I'm growing it. And I just bought these seeds a few weeks ago, a month ago, so I know they're nice and fresh. At this moment, let's just go with Champagne Bubbles. It supposedly has disease and it's very heat resistant. 80-day though to maturity. That's a little long for a cherry tomato. We're going to go with that. It had excellent reviews too. And then we'll go with that Nectar, the one we already talked about, also disease resistance. So those are 3 cherry tomatoes. It'll make a pretty basket. I've got a beautiful kind of like a purplish pink red variety, and then the yellow white, and then this is like a red. The Nectar is a red. So let's move on over here to those. I may switch one of the 3 out from one of these guys. I have grown Super Sweet 100. I've grown it from a start, and I've grown it from starting my own seeds. One year I grew this from seed, and I was having some issues with my soil that particular year. I think it was like 2 years ago. It's in a playlist if you're interested. I have a seed starting playlist. That year I had some trouble because of my soil, and then Super Sweet 100 did not do well, and I ended up having to pull the plants for early blight. And I don't think I got but maybe 1 or 2 cherry tomatoes before they had to be pulled. This is also a hybrid. It's going to definitely have another shot in my garden. We talked about the Mild Wild Cherry. This is a red, very small, petite cherry tomato. I may give it another shot. Chadwick, very reliable. It's a bigger sized cherry tomato. It's excellent for cutting in half, roasting or cooking in recipes. I really did appreciate this tomato the year I grew it, so it is staying. I'm not growing it this year though. And last year I grew Braveheart cherry tomato. It was a hybrid. It did really well. Almost as big as Chadwick, not quite. It almost looked like Sungold until it fully matured. It was a decent cherry tomato. I had no issues with it. It did extremely well. It did not crack. It may or may not show up in my garden again. This seed packet is empty, so I need to make a decision. Okay, so Artisan Blush. This is an elongated type, more of a cocktail, looks beautiful, and a salad tomato. It is gorgeous, yellow, very tasty, mild, sweet flavor. It had some reddish pink striping on it, and it cracked like crazy all summer in my garden. But I tell you, it was one of the longest lasting plants I had. It was still producing right up to our first frost. Actually harvested a bunch of the tomatoes right the night we got our first frost. And then they just sat on my counter and then eventually ripened. I will say the cracking did get better as the summer went on into fall, but spring and summer, it was an ant magnet because of all the cracking. It was even cracking before it was ripe or even blushing. So I don't know. Maybe it was just that summer. Maybe it was too much rain at a certain time. I may give this another shot if there are any seeds left. There's minimal, so I don't know. We might hang on to him. We might not. And then, Foxfire Pink. I grew this last summer instead of Artisan Blush. It's a keeper. It is an absolute keeper. It is a semi-determinate, though, so I'm going to actually relocate this tomato to a different category. Yeah, but beautiful, beautiful fruits. It did incredibly well. It was also producing late into the season. I will be growing this again for sure. Not this year, I don't think. Maybe, but I don't think so. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. I need that size. This is also that kind of elongated plum size. It's more like a cocktail salad tomato. So maybe. We're going to put him off to the side. We already talked about Indigo Rose. I'm not going to grow that again this year. It is a beautiful novelty kind of cherry tomato. Oh, this is also semi-determinate. So we're going to actually put that into semi-determinate category. The Artisan Tigers, I have not grown this pack, but I wonder if Artisan Blush is part of this pack. I think it is, yeah. Blush equal yellow seed. Okay. So maybe, maybe not. Artisan Blush is part of this pack. I will grow this at some point, but not this summer. We will keep it. And then Honey Drop was part of my rotation last summer. It is it's much larger than Sun Gold and Sun Sugar. It is sweet, and I think it was second runner-up in my experiment last summer. I did 3 different golden tomatoes. I have a video. I think it's called 3 Golden Cherry Tomato Experiment. I did it last summer if you want to find the video. I'm keeping it. It's heirloom, so you can save the seeds, which Sun Gold, Sun Sugar, you cannot because they are hybrid. I'm keeping it. Definitely not growing it this year, though. So we've got our Sun Gold, and one of these is empty. That is not a keeper for me anymore. I'm definitely growing Sun Sugar instead, and that's a personal preference. After a couple years of experimenting, I know that Sun Sugar is less likely to crack here in my location, and I just prefer the sweetness, the tang, the kind of tropical flavor of it over Sun Gold. Sun Gold definitely cracks in my garden for sure. So I'm going to retire Sun Gold, but I will use up the seeds, of course, first. I do not have any Sun Sugar seeds, so I need to get a new pack. I also grew Honeycomb last year, and it has more of a tomato flavor. It's less tropical and fruity than Sun Sugar and Sun Gold, but it could have a place in the garden. If there are any seeds left, yeah, there are. I can feel them. I will just hang on to this. I'm not like in a hurry to grow it again or anything, but it was not horrific. It was a good, solid performer. Nice, medium-sized cherry tomato. And it just had more of that tomato kind of punch and flavor that I wasn't expecting in a golden tomato. Now this is more of a bicolor cherry tomato that's kind of reddish pink with orange. Beautiful, beautiful, and so sweet. I love this one. I might be out of seeds. No, there are a few in there. I may switch out, I don't know, I may, for my 3rd tomato for this year. I do love this one. It's been several years since I've grown it. Let's put that off to the maybe. Black cherry, I absolutely adore. We've already talked about it. I recommend it. It looks very similar to the Rosella, so I'm not going to grow it because, we don't need too many of the same color. Purple Bumblebee, I've grown a few, at least 2 different summers, and I've got 2 different seed packs. I will keep this because I think it's really tasty and pretty, very pretty, but I'm not in a hurry to grow it again. I don't feel compelled to switch it out for one of these guys. And then Berries Crazy, I have grown multiple summers. I did grow it last year because I had a request, and I do enjoy it. It is just so delicate to work with. These clusters and the fruits just fall off the moment they're thinking about being ripe. So it gets a little messy, I think, with Berries Crazy, but it does have a unique flavor, very mild. If you have someone who hates tomatoes, you definitely may want to consider growing Berries Crazy. I think one of these packs is empty. Okay, well, is that it? Yeah, I guess I don't have that many cherry tomatoes as I thought. So that's it, guys. We've got our 3 cherry tomatoes picked out for 2026. That is so, so awesome. Rosella, champagne bubbles, and nectar. So we've got a red, a whitish yellow, and this dark kind of pinkish purple color. I think that will make a beautiful basket. We may also pick one cocktail size from the semi-determinants to kind of round out our salad. I'm really excited to try these, guys. Thank you for any and all recommendations.